So I was watching Alex De Minaur play Jaume Munar yesterday in Madrid, and I was really enjoying the matchup because I'm a nerd like this, and they have very distinct styles and very specific styles where De Minaur kind of hugs the baseline and hits the ball really flat without a lot of net clearance, and Munar's the exact opposite. He stands way back and hits the ball with as much shape as you'll really see at that level of men's tennis. Lots of shape, tons of net clearance, and he also does anything he can, and he uses that extra time that he buys himself by standing far back, uses that extra time to try to make almost every single ball a forehand. I mean, he would rather die than hit 3 backhands in a row. Sometimes it seems that way when you're watching him play. So I'm watching this match. I'm enjoying the contrast of styles. It was a good win for De Minaur, but I'm really not here to talk about that. I'm watching the contrast of styles, and I realize that I'm getting a little bit frustrated because I'm thinking about certain things in my head. I'm thinking, well, where does Munar rank on tour in average net clearance? Where does De Minaur rank? I imagine Munar ranks towards the top when it comes to net clearance, and De Minaur ranks towards the bottom. I imagine Munar has one of the highest inside or one of the highest runaround forehand rates on tour. And I could know these things. We could track these things. Tennis has an unbelievable technology in Hawkeye. We probably take it for granted at this point because it's becoming kind of an old technology that we've had for a while. And originally we thought, oh, great, we can see if the ball is in or out. That's so cool. Now we don't need to deal with messed up lines calls. We could have a challenge system. Tremendous. But then we started to realize, or not we, the folks at Hawkeye started to realize, well, if we can track the flight of the ball, we can do really, really cool things. And now we've done that, and the broadcast partners, such as Tennis TV or ESPN during a major, they have access to this Hawkeye data that can show really incredible things. Average net clearance, speed of every shot, RPM, spin rates on every single shot, where the ball lands, average depth, average rally contact point, return of serve contact point. How far in are you playing? How far back are you playing on average? All these things can be tracked. All these things are really, really insightful. How could you track runaround forehand rate? Easy. You take away the return of serve. You track every ball hit on the backhand side of the court. What percentage of those shots are hit as a forehand? And then I could know, where does Jaume Munar rank in runaround forehand rate? We always talk about depth. Novak Djokovic has made a career, among other things, out of hitting with just superhuman depth. Where does he rank? We could know these things. And for some reason, all of this data is behind this inaccessible wall of what is a private company in Hawkeye. And I understand that. It's a private company. In order to get access to their data, you have to pay a hefty, hefty price. It's unfortunate. I don't know why someone hasn't figured out the economics to bring that data to the people in an accessible way. Because I know that if you were to build the ultimate tool to track these kinds of things, it would be an invaluable thing for tennis fans. The ATP could do it. The WTA could do it. Can they afford it? Is it really true that they can't afford it? Because if they reached an agreement with Hawkeye and they could start tracking these things, we could see leaderboards, full season leaderboards, tournament leaderboards, and we could track all of these exciting things in tennis that would make the tennis fan smarter. And when the tennis fan gets smarter, the tennis fan gets more engaged. The gambler gets more engaged too. I'll just throw that out there. We could easily make the tennis fan smarter, and we could add intrigue to these things. Every single sport has these season statistics that they're intrigued by. Who's leading the league in 3-point percentage? Is it Steph Curry? Who is leading the league in, it could be a simple stat, touchdown passes. Who's leading the league in touchdown passes? Is it going to be Zach Wilson next year? Right? Probably not. Every sport, they track these season-long statistics. Tennis is so disjointed that we have no semblance of continuity. And all we get when it comes to this brilliant Hawkeye data are these one-off graphics that are shown periodically during the broadcast of an individual match. That's it. Really? Okay. But I understand. Hawkeye's a private company. Maybe I'm asking for too much here. Maybe it's not going to happen. Well, okay. Let's throw that aside. And I would argue that we are still in the dark ages when it comes to tennis statistics. We still miss opportunities to track very, very simple things. Because right now in tennis, we are working with raw numbers. We track winners and we track errors. And winners track firepower, vaguely speaking, broadly speaking. Errors track consistency. I have no problem with that. Alone in a vacuum, I have no problem. We should track winners. We should track errors. I completely agree. And over the course of a single match, when you put winners and errors side by side, it makes sense. And you can kind of see the dynamic between two players, especially if you break it down by stroke, forehand, backhand, etc. But as soon as you leave that scope, as soon as you leave that lens and you expand it beyond the scope of a single match, now the stats become useless. They become raw numbers. Well, that's a simple fix. You turn those raw numbers and you turn them into a percentage, and suddenly you put them in context. You go from useless to illuminating and useful. What is a player's winner rate? What is their error rate off the forehand, off the backhand? Simple, easy. All you do is simple division. How many ground strokes has Rafael Nadal hit in the 2021 season? How many of them have been winners? Winners divided by total ground strokes, that is his winner rate. That tells us something. And then you could watch a match like De Minaur or Munar, and you could say, well, Munar's very consistent. He has one of the lowest error rates on tour. And that's a number. That's a statistic. Wouldn't that make us all smarter? Wouldn't that give us the tools to watch tennis in a way that is just more layered? And is that really so hard? All you need to do is simple division. All you need to do is track the total number and turn these raw numbers that we're working with and turn them into a rate. Turn them into a percentage. And all across other sports, these tools are available. These unbelievable tools. In basketball, you have KenPom.com. And it does just that. It adjusts all of these simple stats. It turns them into rates. It turns them into percentages. It tracks every single team in all of college basketball, and it ranks them based on these individual metrics. It's a beautiful tool for college basketball fans everywhere. And Bart Torvik does it, and Haslametrics does it. And football has this thing called Pro Football Focus that's been a huge success. And tennis is beginning to attempt to enter the analytics space. And Tennis Abstract does good things. And Infosys has worked with some of the major tournaments and has done really, really good things. But in reality, we are so far behind. Tennis needs an analytics revolution because right now it's being left in the dark ages.